So this is the budget K-series intake manifold I decided to go with. It's from Bullboost Performance, and it is sold on eBay, so I will put the link down below. So let's go ahead and do an unboxing now. Let's see what we got. So this is like a budget-friendly intake that I chose to do. And let's see the modifications it's going to take to install it. Cut my finger. Right. It's well packaged. It looks pretty good. So I did order a silver one, but they said that it was scratched, so they went ahead and sent me a black one. But it doesn't really matter because I'm going to powder coat it anyways. Oh, yeah. Very nice. And it also does come with the fuel rail. So here's the fuel rail, and I guess these are like the hardware that comes with to mount the fuel rail, the fittings for vacuum lines and fuel lines. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to get it fitted up on the engine, see what modifications it's gonna take. Very nice intake though. I believe it's a 70mm throttle body, but they say you can port it for bigger throttle body. I do want to put like a 74 at least, so I might have to port it, but we'll see. Very nice. So I did see that you're probably going to have to trim a little bit of this. I still want the power steering to work, so I'm probably going to make a cut here and here so I could be able to mount the pulleys and the power steering pump. But I'm going to go ahead and get all these nuts removed. Probably going to have to remove some of the studs to try to snake it in here, but we'll see. Going to have to get an Allen key. So usually this is what holds this plate on, but I went ahead and drilled and put a bolt right here in the head. So I drilled and put a bolt here, and this one was already there. So it's already sealed up, so each time I take off the intake, I won't have to worry about it. Let's see if it'll clear without modifications. A little stiff over here. These studs are... Seems like these studs are a little big. It's not hitting there. It's not hitting here. So I might have to drill the holes a little bigger for these studs that I have, or just run bolts. So now we're gonna go ahead and open up our fuel rail. So let me get this open. So it is a black fuel rail. Oh, that's pretty neat. I could put the fuel line here as a feed and block off these if I was doing like a returnless system, but I am doing a return system. So I'll most likely put the regulator here and the fuel feed here. So we'll see. But let me see about all this hardware and getting this fuel rail mounted up. So let me see. Came with them. So I imagine these screw into these little holes on the intake. I imagine it didn't come with any instructions, but I imagine this screws in here, and then this one probably screws in this one. Yeah, it seems like that's how it goes. I guess these little brackets, it seems like, because if you try to bolt it like that, the fuel rail's not going to line up for the injector, so I guess it has to go like that. So you have to use those little 90 brackets that go right here. I'm pretty sure it goes like this. Yeah, so the bolt is countersunk. Oh yeah, so I see these. So I'm pretty sure these are the little brackets that you're supposed to use. These are the bolts. So those are all the fill fittings and the vacuum fittings, and these are the hardware. Oh, it comes with its own bolts for the intake. Nice. So actually, I'm going to remove the studs and put all bolts. So those will go through here. Like that. That's pretty neat. Okay. I'm pretty sure. Okay. Pretty sure this goes like this. Probably going to add Loctite on everything, but this is just a quick like mock-up just to see how everything looks and fits. Went in just like that. Perfect. Let's go ahead and find the other bolt. It's right here. So now I'm probably going to go ahead and remove all the studs like on the actual head on the engine. But fuel rail mounts up. Seems like the injectors are kind of like the tall style. So I might have to get adapters or spacers or something for the injectors, because I'm not going to be running super long injectors. I'm going to go ahead and remove all these studs and use the bolts that it came with. That's pretty good. So the intake's not flush with the head because I have to remove the studs, but I might have to chop a little bit of this off, but we'll see once I get the studs removed in the bolts. So now here's the fuel fittings that it came with. It looks like it's a -8 ORB to like a -6 AN line. So I'm just gonna put the fittings on here. And then this little one right here. This seems like you could put your fuel feed right here, which I might do that just to be cleaner. Look, but we'll see. It's pretty neat. Or you could cap it off. It comes with a cap. Alright, so with the thermal gasket, it is a little thick, so it did bring the intake out a little bit. I did not have to trim any over here. I just had to notch a little. So I had to trim a little bit out of this water neck. So now with the mock-up gasket and the intake on, and then I put the bolt, the intake just about sits flush. Over here it's sitting flush and it's not rubbing over here, but on this side it just needs a little more taken out. So we're gonna go ahead and right here it's hitting, so I'm gonna go ahead and lower it a little more, like right here, take a little bit out for it to clear right here. You can kind of see where it's hitting because it's kind of like scratched it a little bit. So now I'm just gonna, I didn't want to trim this intake, rather trim this, it's cheaper. So now I don't have a valve cover on it, so I went ahead and used the box that it came with, the packing, and then I'm using this to catch the metal shavings, so I just throw it away. I'm gonna go ahead and take a little bit of this material off. Alright, so I went ahead and clearance that, so let's see if I can get the intake to fit up. Got the intake manifold gasket there, got one bolt going through. Lift that out of the way. Now I'm gonna go ahead and line up the bolt holes, and now still rubbing a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. So I'm gonna have to take off a little more right here. Alright, now let's try again. So, whoop. Let's see if it clears. I'll do a little more. I have to notch that little water neck on the side. It ain't clearing, like a little bit. I'd rather trim this than this because it's the whole housing, and this is just really cheap. So. Now it's all clearing now. So I went ahead and got the intake all fitted up. So the only modification I had to make was to this adapter piece right here for the coolant line to go into the thermostat housing. So I only had to shave off a little bit, but everything fits up really well. Came with all the hardware. Only thing it didn't come with the gasket. I do recommend using a thermal gasket, like a thicker gasket. So I am going to be mounting my regulator here. I'm waiting for my fitting, and I'm probably going to end up doing this 45 here and a 45 here. So this will be my feed, and this will be my return. But everything fits up really well. I got a Skunk 2 70mm throttle body on it, so it fits really nice. But I'm debating if I'm gonna get the intake powder coated or if I'm just gonna leave it the same finish. It is a pretty nice finish. So that pretty much wraps it up for the intake manifold install on your K24a2. I went ahead and just had to trim it up here, and that's the only modifications we had to make.